The Z Flip 5 is one of the greatest phones of 2024, but there are a few problems. And after having used it for almost 7 months now on the daily, today we're going to talk about all the best things about the Z Flip 5, but also everywhere it's fallen short and even failed. Let's get started. Now, I do want to start with talking about the build quality of the device. There's no case on my Z Flip 5. There's also no screen protector on the phone. So how do you think it's held up? Z Flip 5, water. All over, ladies and gentlemen. All over, okay? It works. It's still in good condition. The phone is still running. Now you might be saying, why don't you just submerge it like this? Or why don't you just submerge it in this pool of water? Well, it's not rated to be submerged in water. It can withstand water perfectly fine, and that's my point. Even though I don't have a case on the phone or screen protector or any other additional kind of protection, I keep my phone in generally good condition. I don't treat it like a slab phone because it's not a slab phone. So sure, slab phones do have better build quality. There's no question asked. As long as you stay within the limits of what is recommended, you should have no problem. All of that being said about the Z Flip 5, there is a problem, however, with the build quality. My alignment is actually off. Now I'm going to show you with the top-down camera first, but if you look closely where the antenna bands are, they're misaligned. And people, check your phones right now as well. See if this is an issue for you as well, where the antenna bands don't match up. And if you watch really closely right now, you see that wiggle? And I can basically be a little bit more flexible with it. Now, is this an issue with the functionality? Is this hampering my functionality? Absolutely not. But it's still a point of concern because this has two implications. First of all, it's drop damage. I have dropped my phone. There's nicks and scratches on the sides where the bezel meets the glass. Mostly though on the aluminum bezel, that's where I've dropped my phone the most, and it's on both sides as well. You can see a little bit more clearly there. And again, this is no case. So this is me dropping it like from this height, and this is just going. But this misalignment with my hinge might be a direct issue of me dropping my phone. So that's one implication. The other is that it's a quality control issue, and that's why I'm like, you guys need to check your phone out, make sure that the antenna bands are aligned. And if so, then it's probably an issue with the drop and nothing that you need to worry about. Although, even if you get a case, most hinges are still going to be exposed. And because this is a two-part phone, like the phone is in two parts, if it falls on one side first like that, even if you have a case on, it's not going to protect it. And yeah, if you're wondering, my screen still turns on, like we're fine. Overall, that's all with the build quality. Let's talk about something that has a little bit more contention with it. The battery. But before we talk about the battery, ladies and gentlemen, please smash that subscribe button. It really helps grow a channel like The Chilled Fossil. Also, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the like button. If you like the video, obviously, if you dislike the video, go ahead and hit the dislike button. But let me know in the comment section below how I can improve. Like, I've been reading all of your guys' comments for all of my previous videos. It really helps me out, all the feedback. I really appreciate it, so thank you so much. I have a wallpaper that you can buy. If you think these wallpapers are cool, go ahead and check out the link in the description below. It's also on my Mac, so if you like that, it's called Aurorian Dance, ladies and gentlemen. It's a new Jabe's album. You gotta be one of those cool kids to know about it, but definitely check it out. Get yourself a cool wallpaper. People that buy flip phones have one thing that I don't like about them, and that's going to be that they always have their flip phone opened up. And if you're going to use a flip phone like a slab phone, just buy yourself a slab phone. And I think I know why. It's because most people don't actually know how much you can actually get done on the outer display. I'm going to lay to rest the debate about how functional and productive the outer display actually can be in just a moment. Stay tuned. 7 months daily usage. We're talking, follow me, we're talking about super fast charging. This is wireless charging, but super fast charging every night for almost 7 months. And we have battery degradation of 4.3%. What does that mean? It means absolutely nothing for most part. Ladies and gentlemen, look, it's still 7 months later, lasts me throughout the entire day without any issues. And the 4.3% number that I get is from comparing my battery life from the first month I was using it to the current month. So it has gone down just a little, but that's actually normal. For most new batteries, they're gonna go degrade the fastest once they're new, and they're eventually gonna plateau after just a little bit and basically stay at that level. And for me, it seems to be that 4.3% degradation is basically just sits there, and the battery hasn't degraded anymore over the past few months. It easily gets me throughout the entire day. Battery degradation is not an issue. Now let's talk about something with a little bit more contention, people. The performance. Look, it's not a powerhouse. It's not a productivity powerhouse. It's not an S23 Ultra. It's not. It's a flip, ladies and gentlemen. It was made for TikTokers, not the most productive people. I didn't say that, but with that being said, I will say you're getting a very long and narrow screen on the inside. And this makes it super easy for me to read emails on the top half while also having the keyboard open on the bottom. People, one of the biggest issues I have with phones like the S23 Ultra is that when I reply to emails, because I get a lot of them, generally when I open up the keyboard, it'll cover up the email I'm trying to reply to. And this happens for a lot of things, even on Google Chrome or something like that. When I'm trying to type something in, it covers up half the screen. But with the S23 Ultra, the Z Flip 5, the screen is narrow and longer, so it doesn't cover up as much of the screen itself. Plus, I have Google keyboards, so I abandoned Samsung keyboards. I made a whole video about some of the best features to enable, and definitely check that out if you haven't already. But with that, I get a little bit more screen real estate, so I can do a little bit more on the screen while also being productive if I need to type up an email or reply to somebody. All of that being said, guys, this is a very, very tiny keyboard. Kind of have to get used to these longer and narrow keys as well, but it's something that after 7 months, I'm easily, you know, accustomed to. And also in performance, let's talk a little bit about gaming and heating issues, because there are no gaming and heating issues, ladies and gentlemen. I've played Genshin Impact, I've played Forza Horizon. In fact, what do we got on we got games on our phones, ladies and gentlemen. What we got? We got Crossy Road, Asphalt Alpha 9. We got Burger Place, and we got Block Blast. That's more like Tetris, so not really intensive, but you get the point. Asphalt 9 is pretty intensive, okay? Maybe not so much Crossy Roads, but I've also played Genshin Impact as a test on this phone, and it's handled those apps and games with absolutely no issues over the past 7 months. And even 7 months later, it still doesn't show any kind of hindrance in the performance itself. Plus, there's no heating issues that are new. So what I mean by that is if you want to follow me a little bit, you want to follow the Mandem. If I put it on wireless charging is generally going to show a little bit more heating. So it might heat up a bit if you wirelessly charge your phone. If you just do regular, like super fast charging like I do for the most part, you probably won't notice any heating issues. So wireless charging is one point I've noticed heating. The other time I've noticed heating is in gaming after like 45 minutes to an hour. So I hope you're not doing that in one sitting, but if you are, you might start notice heating where it's like a little bit uncomfortable to hold, but that's not really an issue to me. Like I don't consider that to be anything new. Most phones are going to be like that anyways. Now, before I talk about, you know, the hallmark feature, the outer display, and all the updates and the cool new things you can do with it, I just want to go over one more spec with you guys, and that's going to be updates. And I'm specifically referring to Samsung UI 6.1. It's called 6.1, right? Even though it's almost been like, we're coming up to 8 months with the phone, it still feels kind of fresh. I remember when the Z Flip 3 came out, we were getting updates on the weekly, but that was also because it was a new phone. You know, the Flip concept wasn't so concrete. At this point, our updates are much less on, you know, fixing issues, and it's a lot more focused on new features like new widgets that are basically a little bit more productive and also give you a little bit of that aesthetic kick, but also making things like the camera a lot more easier to use with auto exposure and all of that stuff. Camera quality, I'm not going to talk about because we already talked about in the previous video. Nothing has changed as far as the output is concerned. The camera quality is still what it was month number 1. But new features like auto exposure and things like that make using the camera, taking pictures and taking videos a lot easier. And that's kind of nice, you know, with these new updates, the phone just continues to feel fresh. And so every time you open it, it doesn't necessarily get boring. You know, there's always something new to look at. Ladies and gentlemen, right now I have my secret chili oil ramen recipe on the pan. I've got it pulled up on Google, Martha's Kitchen as it were. And basically we're gonna go through this whole entire cooking section only using the outer display on the Z Flip 5. Hello?
Key is to be honest with yourself.
Okay, so basically if you're using the outer display and you get a call, it's speaker only. You can't actually put it to your ear and switch back. Learn it the hard way. It's like midnight, it's 1:30 a.m. right now. My whole family's sleeping. I'm in the kitchen making ramen. I'm using my mom's thing. Like, this is, you know, we can't have that. We can't wake them up right now. And just for you guys who are wondering, my ramen dealer right here, H Mart, okay? It's the Shogun brand. These are guaranteed one of the greatest ramens you can buy. They're chewy, translucent, and they soak up the oils really well. So basically, we just gotta wait now for the oil to soak up the chilies. Make sure you don't actually burn the chili, trust me. But more importantly, what do we do now? You got the Z Flip 5, we have the outer display. I'm not gonna go and open a textbook, right? I wanna entertain myself and I wanna do it on the cover screen. But can you actually entertain yourself on the cover screen of the Z Flip 5? Yeah. All right, so the noodles are ready. We have the chili oil. This is waiting now for the final ingredient. We're talking about the secret ingredient. I'm talking about right here. This is the stuff, right? You know what this is? This is soy sauce. This is the soy sauce. Ladies and gentlemen, this completes everything. And you might be noticing, I just like freehand stuff because I am seasoned. You know, when I go to H Mart, it's like annyeonghaseyo. By the way, this whole thing has taken me about 45 minutes. It doesn't take 45 minutes to make ramen, take it easy, but to set up like the cameras and lighting. Over this period in time though, my phone has gone down 2%, and that is the big advantage. One of the big advantages of the outer display, aside from all the ones that we've talked about in the previous videos, the outer display uses much less battery than the inside display. It's obviously smaller, but it's not OLED, you know, it's not the highest resolution. And for most things I do, I don't need the highest resolution, and therefore, it saves you battery the more you use it. Come on now. This is one of the greatest, easiest ramen recipes that you can make. And it's also my favorite ramen recipe. But obviously at the end of a meal, so we just cooked ourselves some of the greatest ramen on the planet. What's the next thing you do before you eat it? Take a picture, obviously, with the Z Flip 5, of course. This is what it's gonna look like. Maybe a little bit less soy sauce. But soy sauce never hurt nobody.